Welcome to the B-Sides and Beers podcast.
Welcome to B-Sides and Beers, episode 10. Today we're checking out favorite lyrics. What do we got? What are we drinking tonight, boys?
I've got a Grolsch.
Grolsch again. The Grolsch man.
Grolsch. Yeah. And the Dutch Pilsner.
Nice. Flip?
Yeah.
I'm drinking the last of the Phillips Brewing and Malting Company pack. I'm drinking the Tiger Shark Pale Ale.
Tiger Shark.
Tiger Shark. And this one, if you care to know, Tiger Shark, sometimes breaking convention yields more delicious results, and this juicy beer is a pale ale reimagined, bred to attack the palate. Tiger Shark is a tropical alpha beast, packed with passion fruit and citrus flavor without the bitter bite.
I wonder how long it took them to come up with that whole spiel.
Yeah, it reminds me of like the J. Peterman catalog, like in Seinfeld. Kind of just writing the preamble for those things.
Yeah, you got a whole team of writers trying to figure out that one little deal.
Yeah.
Have you had that one before, or is this?
No, this is
just
the last one of this pack. So it was the Octo Box, the Phillips Octo Box. So it had that raspberry, Tiger Shark, that glitter bomb, and one other one. I can't remember what the other one is, but yeah. So they were all good. So
nice.
I got another pack of those, but yeah, that's what I got.
Cool. Well, tonight I'm doing a McEwen Scotch Ale. A real fun 8%.
Can I see the label
Scotch
on that
ale.
one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
heavy
definitely you have two of these and you're feeling fine.
That's not your typical summer drink.
No, this is usually a winter occasion and maybe once every couple months. So
yeah, stuck inside.
Yeah, but I had that other Scotch ale the last time, so I figure, let's give this one a go again. So
yeah,
cool. Scotch. All right, who wants to kick this off with our favorite lyrics? and how do we want to approach this one, I guess?
I'll take it since I guess it was my idea. And,
your idea.
If this is bad, it's all your fault.
That's fine. I'll take it. I think this is going back a couple months when we first started doing this, and I was outside sanding my deck, and I was listening to Ween. I hadn't really listened to Ween in a really long time, and there was this song called...
I listened to that album, Dane. I listened to the Quebec album a couple times.
Quebec. Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Is that...
Did you like it, or...
Yeah, it was totally different and totally nothing that I had heard in a long, long time, because I had only heard that Chocolate and Cheese album.
Okay.
That's the only one I knew, and I didn't know the other one. So I checked out Quebec.
Yeah, I've always associated them with like punks, because I remember back in the day in university would be all the kids with like the spiky hair and the jackets with all the patches, and they would be listening to Ween. So I didn't quite understand why Ween was punk, but I guess it's because they kind of don't subscribe to any style, or maybe it's just that they don't take themselves seriously. I'm not really sure, but it's like, it's interesting because you don't really know what you're going to get.
Yeah, it's very sarcastic, but I don't know if it's like for real or
like a full-on joke band, or
yeah.
I never got into them. I tried many times, and it was always a struggle. So
bananas and blue.
Yeah, like the lyrics, it's another kind of Frank Zappa on that, right? Like if you can't get past the lyrics, then I get it, you know.
Yeah, and so the song I was listening to is called "It's Gonna Be a Long Night," And I think it's kind of like a more rocky song, kind of fast paced. And the lyrics were like really fun. And this one, where was it here? You bring the razor blade, I'll bring the speed. Take off your coat, it's gonna be a long night.
Is this song from the 70s?
This one, I think it's from their is this from Quebec? This might be from 2003. Quebec.
Oh, it's off of that
I'm not
album?
really sure. It might be, but I don't remember it being on that album, funny enough. Maybe it was like, I don't know. I'll have to look into it. But I think it's like an early 2000s, if not a late 90s release. Yeah. But
That's a good one.
yeah, it's just like the mental picture is just like and these guys apparently were like big drug users too. So
Makes sense.
it's yeah. So it's just sort for me, like I've never really been into lyrics. And so let me just sort of explain like this whole like I guess exercise where we were supposed to come up with like lyrics. This was really hard for me because I never really like I listen to instruments and you know, I listen to what each instrument is doing, and I'm more kind of interested in that. And I've never really been a lyrics person. I remember being in grade 5, and everyone knew the lyrics to like "Ice Ice Baby," and I didn't.
Yeah,
I just wasn't. Yeah, I just wasn't. I was never really a lyric person, and even like I was into bands like White Zombie, and if you like read what Rob Zombie is like singing, it's like nonsense. There's no real like
No story to
impactful
it.
lyrics. It's just some of it's just like nonsense. And another band I was really into, Sepultura.
Yep.
They would just grab stuff out of the dictionary that sounded cool, because they obviously they're from Brazil, but like. This was tough because I never was into lyrics. I was like researching like Leonard Cohen and like, okay, what is the meaning behind Hallelujah and all this stuff. And like,
How deep are you going to go?
yeah. And he is deep and he is like quite profound and he's great. And, you know, I have gotten into him from time to time, but I think as far as like lyrics and lyrics that have really resonated with me is probably more along like the hip hop sort of rap side of things,
Right.
rather than like rock. So, and then, you know, it's hard to find lyrics that you can sort of pick apart and have some sort of meaning or have some sort of relation to me, especially because like I'm like a 40-year-old white guy and I'm not banging in the hood and all of that. But like I did go through a couple of, I've kind of been a fan of Lil Wayne for a long time.
Lil Wayne, y'all.
Lil Wayne. And whatever. If I'm going to do some work, then I'll just throw in some Lil Wayne because I actually do think his lyrics are quite smart. And I remember I read an interview and he says he just like makes it up and he never writes anything down and like very profound. But like I came across one lyric that actually I kept finding online and it's like one of the greatest lines ever. Where is it here? It's like, real G's move in silence like lasagna. But just give it like, it took me a while, but I was like, silent G and lasagna, that is brilliant.
Are you sure that's the actual
Right?
lyric or is that just how you heard it?
That's the actual lyric. Real G's move in silence like lasagna.
Okay.
I tried
you got-
Lil Wayne, Dane. I couldn't do it. I gave it a shot and I was like,
Yeah.
I listened to, I don't know, That Carter 1, 2, or 3 or something like that. I listened to like 3 albums and I gave it a shot and I couldn't do it. Again, it was
Yeah.
like his style, I guess his delivery. I couldn't get behind it.
Yeah. It's obviously like a subjective thing. And I think for me, it's more of just like the absurdity of it. Like,
Maybe, yeah.
and on top of that, like, you know, this there's a silent G in lasagna, and real G's move in silence. And like, I think that's pretty smart. And on top of that, like, it's easy to listen to, it's accessible, whatever. And like, I think the same goes for Eminem. He's a little angry for my taste, but his lyrics they're super smart. And if you sort of pick them apart and understand like what he's doing, like, it's interesting. It's not like Leonard Cohen, and we're not talking about like accepting, the deeper meaning of life and all that comes at you. It's like some guy rapping.
We'll leave that part for Tupac.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. So then I was thinking like, all right, for me, it's really been about hip hop and rap, and like the one that's always stuck with me is like, don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years, rocking my peers and putting suckers in fear.
Making the teens rain
like,
down like a monsoon. Listen to the bass go boom explosion. Yeah.
I can do that, man, from beginning to end. I'm sure if I laid it down right now, I could probably do that entire song.
Yeah, there's been,
Mama said knock you out.
There's been quite a few parties where you blow people away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought that was like the baddest way to start like a song, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I don't even know when that came out. 90, 91.
Yeah, I was probably around
Talking about
91.
LL.
Yeah, it was about that. Yeah. Well, it's very difficult because I'm in the same boat with you with lyrics, and I find it difficult to have connections to or remember the lyrics to rock songs or metal songs because like you said, I'm more focused on instruments. And when you listen to rap and metal and even country or whatever, there's so many different elements. But when you go to hip hop, it's just bars and beats, and it's so stripped down. So it's easier to focus on what they're saying because that is the forefront of things, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So let's just segue over to you, Mike. Like, what type of rap were you looking at?
For me, it was, for the most part, I'm strictly early 90s. I got into a lot of the early 2000s to 2010 kind of thing. A lot of 50 Cent, a lot of that kind of stuff later on. But for the most part, it was a lot of House of Pain. It was a lot of Wu-Tang. It was a lot of Onyx. It was a lot of Cypress Hill, stuff like that. So those are the things that, at a very young age, I was able to hold and store in my brain, right? When you look at House of Pain, and I listened to that so much that I'd be in class in junior high, and I'd be doing full songs of any of the songs off of Fine Malt lyrics. And it was so easy. It came so smooth to me then. So it's kind of stuck with me today. So
Yeah, I think of that as the opening scene at Office Space when he's traveling down the road. and he's rapping, and the guy comes by, and he locks his door, and
turns it down, rolls up the window, locks the door.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah. Think of that. That's how you feel. Yeah,
That's
funny.
what,
I'm kind of a little bit of both. Again, if I'm kind of the median on that, like, I find that I still can find some like lyrics that I've attached to, like in rock music, like in rock songs. I can do that, but I've got, like, even when I'm coming up in my list, it's kind of all over the place, but like there's a little bit of everything. But I find that I can, when I hear a certain lyric, there's like, it almost kind of like takes you back, right? Or like, like we were talking about before, like being able to just lay down that whole whatever it is, right? Like Mama Said Knock You Out from beginning to end, like you can probably nail it, or you may miss a couple parts, but you know the majority of it, right? And it was funny when you were talking about Vanilla Ice, Dane. I only got to a certain point, and then I think it was after something about the top down so my hair can blow with my rolling down with in the 5.0, something like that with my, that line. After that, I didn't know it past that. So that was it. I wasn't part of the club. I didn't know it. I only knew it up a certain way. Yeah. Only a certain distance.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it. So, but I'll take you guys in a different direction on my first lyric pick. I mean, let's be honest. Danko Jones, the Mango Kid, has two fantastic lines in it, and if
Yes,
you
it
don't know
does.
them, I'll tell them to you again. You can call me the Mango Kid, but your girl calls me baby. Fantastic line. Fantastic line. Followed up with, I've been a rock prodigy since the age of 20. Two fantastic lines, right? Love those lines.
What I'm talking ain't called boasting, it's truthin'.
It's truthin'. Yes. Back when he was good and not singing about being in a band.
My mama raised a devil child.
Yeah, like I bought a white Cadillac.
Yeah.
Like, give me that stuff, right? Like,
Yep.
It's great.
so we can get it on.
But a lot of that does stand out more than others. I mean, when you look at Zeppelin or you look at White Zombie, like you mentioned before, it's or Pantera. There's certain things that stand out. You might remember the chorus, but you're never going to remember much of the verse, or vice versa, right? So
Even you think of like grunge music too, like you attach so much to the lyrics, I think a lot on that too, right? Like we were talking about even Pearl Jam or Alice in Chains, like the lyrics and the delivery of that lyrics is what makes that, half that band what they are, I think, right? Like you give that, I almost split Alice in Chains in half that way, right? Like lyrically and vocally, that band is like above and beyond, but the guitar and the music work behind it as well is unbelievable just as much, right? So
right.
yeah. So that's my initial throw into the hat is Danko Jones, the Mango Kid. What else you got?
Been listening to a lot of Every Time I Die, and I really like his lyrics because they're just he goes from having these really, he'll take old songs, lyrics that are really famous that from an older 80s or 90s song, and he puts it in a different context, and you have to think about where you found that. He does that a ton too, or he'll have really obscure parts where it's like just because you're afraid of the dark doesn't mean that it's frightened of you, or it's a really cool angle to those things. So
yeah,
that's always stuck out for me. So
that was another band where I wasn't sure how to take them, if they were serious or not.
How so?
As far as the lyric content, because I always found it kind of like, was he or is he like being sarcastic, or is it supposed to be humorous? Is it not? Am I not getting it?
I think it's a mix of all of those.
Yeah.
Like he'll have sections where it has meaning, and then other parts where he just throws in, like I said before, with different parts for older songs, and things just fit with the flow, or they stand out a little different. So
yeah.
It's all part of the mystique on that, I think, maybe. The are you serious or not, right? Like,
and then you get into deep bands like Tool or Rage, or where there's purpose behind it, or there's hidden meaning, or
and there's lots of Rage Against the Machine lyrics that I love to just rap along with them, right? Like, and that's I love doing that too. And those I can't even pick those ones out almost, right? Like it just feels like as an album I can kind of lay down certain parts that I can catch or that I've heard so many times, right? And I know, or I think I know it You know what I mean? Like maybe the lyric I've got is wrong, but
Yeah.
in my mind, this is how it goes, and it makes sense in my mind. You know, but
Yeah, I think that's when I really started to listen to lyrics was with Rage.
yeah,
Because they were like, there was a purpose behind it, and like, you had to take that seriously, right? Because he was talking about like real stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
yeah, and even like again going like to Pearl Jam, like I think too, like you got to listen to the lyrics of Pearl Jam stuff when you're back in the day then too, right? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I never did. I don't know.
What was like
I
the
never
whole
really-
like you kind of miss the whole meaning behind Jeremy when you don't know what's going on,
Yeah.
right? If you don't follow the story, you don't know what the hell's going on. So
Right.
Now
And,
there's
and a lot of their
just-
stuff is very story driven. So
Oh, for sure. It was. I think I was more listening to like the Rooster and like
Yeah.
Lane Staley than I don't know. For some reason, I just never really was into like Pearl Jam lyrics. But then again, I think I was also more influenced by the experience of like the lyrics themselves. Like I don't think I was looking for a story. I was more looking for something which, okay, so here's a good example. Last night, just because of this whole exercise, I was listening to a whole bunch of random stuff that I used to listen to back in the day, and I got to Ministry because I always thought that Al
Jurgensen.
Jurgensen.
Jurgensen, yeah, was always like pretty smart, especially like with some of his album titles.
A lot of it's very
Like a-
political driven. And
Yeah, for sure. Mixed in with like how many 30, 20 years of heroin
Yep.
use. And like,
Oh yeah.
I was introduced to them when I was really young because, again, I've mentioned this on earlier podcasts, but like my uncle was like, here's a band called Ministry. Listen to them really loud. And I was like, well, these guys are super aggressive and loud and they must be satanic.
Yep.
And there's this one song on Psalm 69. It's called Just One Fix. And the beginning-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Such a great
and
song.
the beginning, is like this guy and he's just like yelling like, give me the Thorazine or something. And then this creepy voice is like, never trust a junkie. And then, yeah, just like, wow.
Yeah.
That one like little lyric, if you want to call it a lyric, I don't know, a sample was just, it set that song off. It was like the mood of that album was dark and dangerous and like probably not something my parents were happy that I was listening to, but it was so impactful. And, I'll listen to that song again and I'll just like, go immediately to the second track and like, I hear that real gritty voice
Yeah.
and like, anyway. So for me, it was more of the experience and what I was sort of conjuring up in my head rather than like listening to the story of Jeremy, which is like totally valid and awesome. And I think, there was meaning behind that and it meant a lot to a lot of people, but I was more, I don't know. It was just different for me is what I'm trying to get at.
You know
Yeah,
what?
it's-
It's funny though. Going back to Ministry, if there's two things I can hang my hat on that I introduced Nicole to, and she had never heard of Ministry, and I sat her down and played her like Jesus Built My Hot Rod. And it blew her mind. Like she was like, how come I have never heard this before? Like, how come
Yep.
I've never? And I was like, you're welcome. Like, and here's the rest of the album. And it's just
some
been
New
like
World
this-
Order and
Oh yeah, it was like this gift
Yeah.
to her, like that she was just loved Ministry and loves that song. So that, and I also brought The Big Lebowski to her, so she had never ever seen The
Ooh.
Big Lebowski before. So I was like, pretty sure you need to watch this movie. And ever since then, it's just been like it's like her favorite movie of all time now. So those are the two things I can hang my hat on. So yeah, it's funny that you mentioned Ministry, but I know that song. I know those songs and I know that album. And I agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah, not very deep at all.
Nope.
And like, but at the same time, it's just like a lyric that's always been super like exciting and impactful, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just crazy
And I
how
wasn't-
different people take different angles towards lyrics where, it's all that they focus on, and that's what touches them in the song. And then other parts where with us where I just want to hear that kick-ass drum, or I want to, hear the instruments put together. And I hear, for the most part, I hear the vocals as just another instrument, not necessarily a way of pushing out an idea or an emotion that way. So
Yeah, and I think like I wasn't the guy getting anything out of Jeremy either. Like that didn't do it for me. But I guess like growing up too, even in lyrics, like I was always looking for maybe like a line that I could like, agree with or like hang my hat on kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like where, there's a few lyrics where you're like, yeah, like that's how I feel, or like you're kind of searching for that, whatever it is for that moment that you're kind of looking for, right?
yeah. And then you go the simplicity of lyrics that have changed every music cycle with every decade. Going back to the 30s, 40s, 50s, and on. You look at each decade, and it's a very different vocal path and a different way of selling an idea, or the popular music of each time has a different vocal, not necessarily range, but just a different angle to it. It's kind of cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We've been listening to a lot of jazz because the baby seems to really like
Sweet.
it. And just like old school scatting. Is that what it's called? Scatting? Skitty bop
Yeah.
bop.
Yep.
That kind of stuff. It's great, and it doesn't mean anything. Or maybe it does mean something, but there's
Probably
no
not.
like well, you can hear it in the the tone and intonation of the way that they're there's something there.
Yep.
Maybe it's just like transcends
Scat is
actual,
for people that are too lazy to learn instruments. Anyone can do it.
Oh,
Anyone.
the Ella Fitzgerald fan club is writing this podcast a letter now. That's it.
Yeah,
Like,
let's hit it. Bring it on. It's for no talent. There's no talent. There's no soul. There's no anything to it. It's you didn't want to learn how to play a proper instrument, so I'm gonna call it scat.
What about yodelers? How do you feel about yodelers?
Yodeler.
garbage.
How does that fit into your category? Now you gotta.
I think yodeling probably had a purpose at some point.
Well, does it
Scat
mean
has no
anything?
purpose.
I don't know.
No.
Babe. I don't know if it does.
Probably takes a lot more talent than scat.
I don't know. I
I don't know. I mean, like, it's all jazz.
I had to laugh too because I heard that they had some sort of there's an award now with is it Grammys or whatever for scat, and I thought that was the biggest load of BS. I can win an award for that. Really? What, it took you 20 minutes to do that? Okay. Garbage.
Sure. I mean, yeah, I like it.
It's okay to be wrong.
How could your baby like that garbage?
How could you be? Why are you raising it on that?
Have you guys ever seen that? I think it's a Russian dude and the La La
Yes,
guy.
I have. That's one of the funniest things. It's hilarious.
And it was because of the regime was like, your lyrics are too risque, and if you sing lyrics, we will like eliminate you. So
La
he,
la
like, went
la
on stage and
la la.
la la la, and it was like a hit.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
maybe not as maybe not like scatting, but maybe that was like the Eastern European version of scat. And
Oh, I mean, if you think about it, man, in history, like even you think of some of the worst songs of the 1990s that ever came out, like the lyrics to them were absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
Right? Like the hooks that they had, that came out, like they were brutal. Like when you actually go back in your mind and you think about these songs, they're lyrically awful.
Well, go back to the first Go back to the first Foo Fighters album. That was all gibberish.
Yeah.
And he even admitted that, you know, Grohl admitted that he just kind of scribbled whatever and he made it work.
Yeah, and I mean, even Nirvana was, you know, one can debate, I guess, the lyrical content of Nirvana, but
I think there was huge depth in what Kurt was doing.
Yeah.
Huge depth.
Yeah, probably.
To the point of poetry and to the point of having ulterior motives to women's rights, to that sort of an angle. I thought that's definitely a higher level with what Kurt was doing. So much to the point where most people don't understand what he was trying to do until you sit down and you really break it down into its simplest parts. So
kind of coming full circle on that, Dane, going back to, you were talking about Leonard Cohen, and I think about that Penny Royalty lyric, the what is it? Give me a
it's
Leonard
okay to it's okay to eat fish.
No,
they don't have any feelings.
Yeah, no, not that one.
That's underneath the bridge. Too. Sorry, yeah.
How does it go? The give me a Leonard Cohen afterlife. No.
Oh
Afterworlds,
yeah.
So I can
Leonard Cohen afterworld. Yeah.
Sigh eternally.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's kind of a cool line, you know, and so, but then I guess in the end, I found out that Leonard Cohen found out about that lyric, and obviously Kurt was already gone, and Leonard Cohen was like, I wish I could have met the young man. Yeah. I would have talked to him and maybe, you know, I don't know, swayed his ways. I'm not sure. But anyways.
It's like Neil Young with Better to Burn Out Than to Fade Away.
Yeah.
In Kurt's supposed suicide note. Supposed.
You think Courtney Love wrote that?
He probably wrote it, but she killed him, so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But again, that's for another podcast. That's
another podcast.
Murders in the world of music.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be fun. Oh man, there's so many.
Yeah.
I'll put a tag on that one.
Yeah, I'm going. You guys are talking about not finding lyrics in rock songs. Think about Appetite for Destruction. Think about how many lyrics you can pull out of there, which are just great, with a Molotov cocktail with a match to burn.
Smoke my cigarettes with style.
Yeah. You can tell my honey, you can make my money tonight.
Look out. Well, I'm a West Coast mother.
Yeah,
strutting
just
one
so
bad
good.
mother. Yep.
Rattle Snook Case son of my
try that again.
Yeah. Rattlesnake suitcase.
Rattle.
Yeah. But you know what I mean?
I'm a mean machine. I'm drinking gasoline
and honey. You can make my motor.
Yeah, it's great. It's accessible. And I think when we agreed on this 2 weeks ago, all right, it's going to be about lyrics. And I didn't think about it until really a couple nights ago. And I was like, damn it. I got to find something with meaning and rock and roll for me is accessible and fun. And I think there's definitely politically charged bands out there and there is meaning behind it. But I just don't, I think the lyrics and rock music stick with me for different purposes. I'm not looking for any philosophical, enlightened meaning behind any of that stuff. Because most of it's just party music anyway.
It doesn't.
Or the artist is off their rocker on drugs, and that's great, but that's not the level that I'm on. So
or you listen to Meatloaf.
What's
or you
that?
listen to Meatloaf. That's category C.
Meatloaf. Whoa.
Yeah.
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 It doesn't always have to have meaning to it. So it's just,
Yeah, and that's what's fun about it, right?
and even when it's supposed to have meaning, you look at Rage Against the Machine and the what Tom De La Roca put out as being, you know, it's supposed to be politically charged and changing how people think about things. But at the end of the day, who is singing those lyrics? People that don't have a clue or don't care to have a clue to change anything, right? And they take these songs and it has a completely different meaning to them. Where Tom puts it out as Zach De La Roca puts it out as you know, something that's, he wants to change the world or he wants to change people's thinking. And then, you know, you've got the fuck you, I won't do what you tell me part, where, you know, most people know that song. They don't know what it, you know, what his meaning behind it is, but it just feels good to yell at the concert or the bar or the, you know, most people don't have that connection to it. So
Yeah, exactly.
You know what?
And then they go to their jobs and they do what they're told.
Right.
But maybe that's not that isn't the idea behind the song. Maybe
it's not at all,
maybe it's
but
just a release.
it's not well, yeah, I guess.
You know.
You know what it did for
Did
me?
they-
Like I didn't know about it, and when I was in Mexico, I was like, you know what? I want to find out like what these songs are about. Like what are they talking about? So I started like doing research on it and like finding out more about like the whole like Mexican Revolution and like learning more about that and like finding
Right.
out. So I think that maybe that's the idea. Like maybe like if Zach De La Roca heard that I was doing that would probably be like, yeah, like that's what I'm talking about. Like just spreading the word and like realizing how oppressed these people were and are and everything, right? Like it makes you realize, I guess. So from that side of it, yeah, like I guess it kind of teaches you something, but I love lyrics that you can just have no meaning and just, you know.
Well, I think that was definitely his intent, but then you look at the majority, the mass majority of the people that listen to that song and they don't take it that way.
Oh no.
So
No.
it's quite often it's almost lost in translation or
Yeah, it's just become a arena anthem.
right.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. But also, I mean, I think on top of that, it's important and also interesting to know that songs like that can exist and be part of popular culture and not have like massive airplay.
Right.
And by that I mean like it's great that, you know, bands like Bad Religion are out there. I'm not going to like become a human rights lawyer or fight for whatever, but I do appreciate the message that they've gotten out there without, you know, the help of mainstream media.
Right.
So it's just important that stuff is out there. Like you said,
Trying to
Mike,
open minds.
it could manifest into whatever, you know? So
Right.
whether lyrics are impactful or not, I think it's definitely important to have that stuff out there. You can do whatever you want with it.
Yeah. What else you guys got for lyrics? Did you write more down?
A duck then a swing, next thing your jaw's broken. Punk, I ain't joking, you could bet you be choking on a fistful of nuttin'. Meanwhile, I'll be puffing on a fat blunt. What, punk, you don't know the half. Trying to talk shit, man, please don't make me laugh. These Irish eyes are smiling, I'm buck wildin'. The house of pain is pumping, start jumping, freak it, funk it, backseat trunk it. If you can't get with it, you wind up sweating it. Then you get a beaten just like an egg. So hard to run when you got a broken leg, but we could have a run off. The house of pain will come off. We got the cake that you're trying to get a crumb off. The Irish styley, the Celtic jazz. No one has it, just us, that's it. If you try to take it, I got a big shillelagh. Don't got dreads cause I shave my head daily. You call me a skinhead, I call you a pinhead. Yo, where you been, man? Just like the tin, man. You got no heart. Here comes the good part. I pick 'em, buck 'em, cut 'em off and buck 'em down. No fucking around. Homeboy, you get clown like Krusty. Trust me, you shouldn't play. And by the way, top of the morning to you. These are things that stuck with me since like age 12.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
These are things that have stuck with me for that long.
That's crazy.
That's impressive. House of Pain.
Yeah.
All right, I got one for you. Ready? Close your eyes, make a wish, and blow out the candlelight. For tonight is just your night. We're gonna celebrate all through the night. Keep going. Pour the wine, light the fire. Girl, your wish is my command. I'll submit to your demands. I will do anything. Girl, you need only ask. I'll make love to you like you want me to. And I'll hold you tight, baby. All through the night, I'll make love to you when you want me to. And I'll not let you go till you tell me to.
Oh, rad.
I should be slow dancing somewhere with somebody I don't want to be dancing with.
Yeah.
Those are the lyrics, man. Those are the ones that stuck with me.
Nice.
No, I'm joking. I'm like reading it off the
Those are the
internet
ones
here. I
that
don't even
touched you.
remember.
Oh, that's rad. Okay, Flip, your turn.
Oh man, how do you follow that? You know what line I like? My Maserati does 185.
85.
I like that line, man. Yeah, I love that song.
Yeah.
When I drove too fast and now I don't drive, how does it? The rest of it go?
That's it, I think. I lost my
Okay.
license.
I lost my license, now I
but
can't
now I
drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I go to parties sometimes until 4. It's hard to leave when you can't find the door.
Can't find the door. Yeah.
I love that. I'm not a big Eagles fan. Going back
Man,
to
I
the Big
hate the
Lebowski.
Eagles.
Yeah.
Man, I hate the Eagles. Could you turn? You shut this off?
Yeah. But I do like Joe Walsh. I gotta listen to that.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. What else you guys got? I got a few more.
Yeah, I don't have much else, man.
I like 40 ounce to freedom.
What's
the
that?
only chance is the only chance I have to feel good, even though I feel bad.
Is that Sublime?
Yeah.
Nice. That was a great album.
Yeah, I love that album. I also like Queens of the Stone Age. Life is hard, that's why no one survives. And I'm much older, and I'm much older than I thought I'd be. Those two lines, I'm like, those are good. Yeah, and that's about all I got.
It was a tough objective.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think it was kind of good just to even rip back the talking about lyrics and like the impact of lyrics on us too, right? Like different approaches to it.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just looking at some Pantera lyrics here. They're horrible. But I really love that band. Yeah.
But you're right about the Rob Zombie
That's-
and the White Zombie stuff, though. When you think about that, like I can do the majority of like a lot of those songs, and they're just like talking about pig sweat and like Astro Creeps and just weird stuff that doesn't exist.
crazy B movie horror awesomeness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
So, okay. And I remember because they actually had the lyrics in like the CD jacket.
Yeah.
And I'm just like looking at it now, and it's like, well, sweet little sisters, high as hell, cheating on a halo, grinding all the sea, Holocaust, the high, kicking out tomorrow. Breakdown agony, ecstasy, and overdrive. We're riding on the world, thunder kissing. 1960. It doesn't make any sense. Living fast and dying young like an endless poetry. I guess, I don't know, maybe it does make a bit more sense.
Nightmare freak out inside of me.
Out inside of me. The power of the blaster moving faster.
So good though, right? Like it just something about it just makes it work. Something I can't do.
Yeah.
Like I tried doing that. I cannot find the flow of where those lyrics go in the rhythm of the flow of everything else. I can't figure out where that gets inserted. And everything I try is cliche and garbage.
Every once in a while, really cool lines pop into my head, or certain chorus structures or verse structures, like on what was it? The last two songs that we put together, actually all four of them, I came up with bits and pieces to send to Justin when he was writing his thing, and he ended up using it, which is pretty cool. Like part of Ghost, I came up with a line and a verse that worked perfectly. He kind of changed it a little bit, but the flow was there. And if I sit and think about how to write lyrics, I get total brain shutdown. But every once in a while, it just kind of comes out of nowhere, and then I'll write it down, or I'll record a little section of it, and then I can send it to an actual singer to take it to the next level. But I've never been a lyricist, but I can sit with a lyricist and I have ideas that pop up that I can add to the conversation and help it flow better, which is kind of cool. I don't know where it comes from. It's
I can't do that at all. I got no skills on that at all.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Can't find where to cut in.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike, that's great. It sounds like a very like a personal and like artistic way of looking at it. And I, over the past like year and a half, I've been really getting into country, like country music. And specifically because like the lyrics are so wacky. I mean, and you can pick out, it's as if there's an algorithm, and they all will. So this summer, it's like they all sing about sweet tea. You'll hear sweet tea in every single song.
Oh, so you're listening to pop country, not like country.
Yeah.
Oh, all of it. But yeah, like the pop shit that's coming out right now, and I think it's hilarious. Yeah. They're all talking about drinking and
honky tonk, badonkadonk, and.
But Bane, I got a question for you, because I don't listen to that, and I haven't like tried to even get into it. So like, how can you get past the lyrics? It's like the Frank Zappa for me. Like I can't do it. Maybe I can find some like, I don't even know if I can find any musical qualities in there. Like I can't find enough redeeming things in there to make it worthwhile for me to listen to.
You have to avoid the pop country. You have to go back to Johnny Cash and Willie Nelson. Willie Nelson has great lyrics.
That stuff's good.
That stuff is great, but if that's what you're looking for. But like
for proper writing, that's where it comes from. Or
yeah, but I'm not looking for that. I'm not taking it seriously. Okay. And that's what makes it kind of fun, because I can listen to serious music. I can listen to stuff that makes no sense. But I think with country, I remember I was listening to one song and it was about like God and beer or something like that. And I was like, at first I was like, this is garbage. And then I started thinking about it and I was like, this is like ridiculous. It's kind of funny. And then I listened to it some more and I was like, okay, this is kind of fun. I could like, go cut the grass and then enjoy a couple of beers afterwards and listen to some country. And I actually enjoy it. And now it's to a point where I'm seeing like certain phrases and key words that are used in all of the new pop country. It's as if it's some formulated algorithm 100%. That like this many people react to if you say drinking sweet tea in the sunshine, and you'll just like hear it with all of these songs. It's really bizarre.
100%.
But at the same time, like there's no value really ascribed to it other than just like putting a smile on your face. And I think that's why I kind of like it. It's
just dumb fun.
I never took it. Yeah, just dumb fun. And like, trust me, like I was raised on Willie. I love that stuff. I love that. The real sort of country stuff. But even like Willie doesn't take himself that seriously.
There's a lot of it there. Well, one guy I got into about 10 years ago or so. Put some proper time into Hank 3.
Oh yeah, he's
Oh
awesome.
man, the what
Yeah.
he comes up lyrically it's fun, but it's very well done.
Right.
So
Yeah, I don't know. I just can't. I
Yeah.
can't. That mentality, Dane. I can't even subscribe to that. And I'm not knocking you, but I can't even. I can't be like. I just want to put on something and like listen to it and have no attachment to it. I can't. I can't do that. I don't know.
Fair
I
enough.
don't know what it is, and maybe I wish I could, but I can't. I don't think I can.
It's not for everyone. And like, okay, if you can't listen to a Luke Combs song and be like,
Who?
all right, I was tapping my foot to that. If you're not tapping your foot to a Luke Combs song, then like forget it.
I don't know who that is.
He's great. He's like one of the new guys, but he's got some sincerity in him, and he is somewhat of a decent like lyricist, and he's just all around like a good country guy, and he's like one of the new ones. So I don't know, if you listen to some Luke Combs and you're like, this is garbage, then I don't know what to say. But I really appreciate like just talking about like simple stuff, being an average Joe, and like having pride in your whatever, drinking a beer, and a beer's never done me wrong, so whatever.
Budweiser and Truck in America.
Yeah,
So you're looking for something that speaks to you.
it's not necessarily speaking to me, because like I said at first, I was like going about it that way, and I was like, these lyrics are garbage.
Yeah.
But then I just didn't take them seriously, and I was just like, okay, this is like not my regular aggressive power metal that I listen to, and it's not like something that is, whatever like mumble rap stuff that I don't like. But it is like, it's got like a happy vibe to it, and it celebrates having a beer on a hot day after you cut the lawn, and there's nothing wrong with
You
that.
So
know
it's-
what? I would be embarrassed by my wife like you guys would not even believe. If she ever found out I was listening to that, or like I'd had it on my Spotify, she would make me feel like 2 cents. I'm telling you right now, she'd be like, "What are you listening to this garbage for? What are you like? What? How could you be into this?"
That's
Oh man, but you know what? And I never ever thought. But then you take a look back at what's his face, Friends in Low Places, Garth Brooks. He knocked off Michael Jackson for like, no, he was like the biggest recording artist in the world in 1990.
he still probably is, and it's awful.
And like, oh, fair enough. I mean, like everyone's opinion is valid, but at the same time, I mean, he had 1 million people show up at in New York City in Central Park to watch him play.
He's still doing.
So 1 million people can't be wrong.
Yes, they can. But they, I guess he did recently. He was doing this drive-in theater tour, but
Yeah.
he was only playing one drive-in theater. He was recording it and playing it to all these other drive-in theaters, and they were selling out. People showing up to
Yeah.
watch a recorded concert on a screen. And he's nuts, man. That guy is completely lost touch with the reality. It's funny when you
mean
start
Chris
digging
Gaines?
in. No,
Talking about Chris Gaines.
no, yeah, Chris Gaines.
Yeah.
Yeah, his alter ego. Wow, that was a mess. Just he's
Yeah, it's not all
oh
pretty.
man, he's completely certified nuts. It's one of those things where he came out with, there's some sort of a documentary on Netflix, I think it is, and I tried watching it. And how is it possible that while making this documentary, anything he talks about, he's on the verge of crying? Like everything is the most important thing.
Yeah, it's very dramatic.
It's horrible. And then you look at everybody else that's interviewed on this, and it's no one has a bad thing to say about him. Nobody. He's like the greatest man that has ever existed, and he's the greatest athlete, and he's the greatest lover, and he's the greatest.
Well, no, they go over him cheating.
Even his ex-wife doesn't
like,
have a bad thing to say about him. Like, he's the most perfect person ever. And then you go to his Facebook, and when he talks on social media, he's like this really weird. Like, he has no emotion, no personal contact with reality at all. It's horrible.
Yeah, but Mike, you sing, you try singing country songs and make half a billy, and he's worth something like $500 million. You're going to be wacky. You're going to
Zero.
You're not going to be a normal person. But the fact is, like, he connects with.
No,
people.
but also you look at cats like Brad Paisley.
Yeah,
he is selling like mad. He's so huge, and he still seems to be very in touch with reality, and not to the insane place that Garth Brooks is. And the talent is there. The songs are there. I mean, I'm not a big fan of him. I like him because he is. When you look at country, he's an amazing guitar player, and he's a wicked shredder at what he does on guitar. It's mind blowing, but he still has that connection with reality, and he's also making, he's selling out everywhere he goes, and there's a human aspect to it.
Yeah, I mean, that's also awesome. Yeah. I don't know. I don't take country too seriously, but I think for me, that's what it's about. And like, kind of going back to what we were talking about, I think lyrics you can take them for however you want to interpret them. And like, I remember being really young and Kurt Cobain saying that stuff too. Like, the interviewer would be like, "What does this song mean?" And he would be like, well, "What do you think?"
Yeah. It's up to your interpretation.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I don't know. Luke Combs might give it a shot.
I tried him. I couldn't do it. It was the lyrics. I just couldn't do the lyrics. And like I said, there's nothing musical there for me to be like, I gotta listen to this next section of this song. Like,
you're not laying in bed with the lights off, like listening to the layers as the song ends.
No,
with
man.
great headphones on a
yeah, that's what I'm about.
Fair enough.
So, but again, I respect that. I just can't do that. I wish I could because I wish I could just like put on some of that like garbage and like just kind of go white noise on it, right?
I love country. I can't do the pop country.
And is that what you're listening to?
Like,
are you listening to the Sun T songs? Are you
all of it? I mean, we
Sweet
got
tea?
one radio station. We got like two radio stations that work over here, and one of them's country, and the other one
Western
is like pop.
I listen to both styles of music, country and Western.
Yeah, good Blues Brothers reference there. Yeah, and like if I'm not listening to Ariana Grande or whatever her name is, I got it on the Raven.
Taco Grande.
Yeah.
What's the Raven?
And the Raven plays. The Raven is like the new country songs.
Oh,
all the new country hits for the Comox Valley.
They're all hits. Every one of them is a smash hit.
I got CBC, and Easy Rock. That's all I got.
And that's it.
Yeah, and then they pick up the pop station from Vernon. That's it.
Oh yeah.
Fuck radio. Since Spotify hit, who needs it?
Yeah, I don't know.
I get CBC too. I'll listen to it if I'm heading into the mainland for work. I'll put on like CBC, and it's good enough sometimes.
Yeah, I listen to a lot of it, just ripping around too, because sometimes it's like too much to even plug in my phone, and I'm like, I'll just listen to CBC what they got going here. And sometimes I hear some cool stuff, right? I'm always seem to be driving around when Q's going on, and they're usually interviewing somebody that I'm like, all right, I'm
I like that one.
and I like Tom Power, and
Hasn't been the same since Gian Gomeshi or whatever.
yeah, well, I don't know,
boy.
yeah, that guy's a different story, but
He was a great interviewer, man. Even with all the other shit that went on, and then you look at Tom Power, and he's not nearly as good.
no, I still
Yeah, but he doesn't smack around ladies. So
yeah.
talking about like being real.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like his, I again, going back to Tom York, I heard it.
Allegedly.
Tom, I think he was convicted in court, but anyway.
Allegedly.
Tom
You
York
gotta
and
say-
Tom Power, and it was a good interview. That's all I wanted to say about that. He did a good job, especially with a tough guy like Tom York to interview. I don't think that's an easy walk in there with your clipboard and ask him 5 questions, and I don't think it works like that. So,
Well, the thing
he did
with
a pretty
Tom
good job.
Power is he fanboys too much.
Yeah, he does do
But
that
he,
a little bit.
Too much fanboy.
Yeah. He just doesn't have a Newfoundland accent at all.
Yeah. No. No, he doesn't.
I find that amazing.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with that accent, but he doesn't have
No.
one, and he's from Newfoundland,
Yeah.
right?
How did he
Maybe
do
it's
that?
Yeah.
maybe it's like the British singers that sing like American accents.
Yeah, maybe.
That was speaking of that
Maybe.
though. That was crazy about the Phil Collins with that video with the how Phil Collins, like the mess up in the Genesis studio, what led to like the that snare sound for like all of the 80s.
oh, the gated-
gated.
Yeah, the gated drums or whatever it's called.
Yeah, like
Yeah, super interesting, right?
think of that too. Like it's crazy how that all
Well-
just so many songs like that.
Well, we should probably roll back and backtrack to lyrics itself just to shut this one down because we're well over an hour. So, is there any way that we want to? Lyrics are awesome. I love your lyrics.
My lyrics are
That's
awesome.
all right.
If you don't like the lyrics that I like, you're wrong.
I think I'm
I like
good.
G's and Hustlers.
This is for the G's and this is for the hustlers. This is for the
Yeah.
hustlers. Now back to the G's.
And if you want some, get some. Bad enough, take some.
See, it all comes back to hip hop.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Thanks, guys.
That's it for episode 10. Thanks for listening.
Please subscribe and comment on our YouTube, like and share on Instagram at B-Sides and Beers Podcast. Follow on Spotify, subscribe, rate, and share on Apple Podcasts, and pretty much every other streaming platform.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.